Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Sorry for the late connection. It was a little.
Oh, you're fine. I don't know if I can do video. My Wi-Fi went out, so I don't want to push it.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. So just before we get started, just wanted to let you know that we do record our consultations. It's on that form and everything, and we also record our lessons and all. So just a heads up on that. So Ryan, correct?
Correct.
So
You're in UK?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So go ahead, and I did not get to read your consultation form, but go ahead and fill in on any information that you think that is important for me to know.
Okay.
And then we can go from there.
Okay. Just about obviously Rummy. He's gonna be 7 months next week.
Okay.
We did basic puppy training at Call the Wild. It's some of it stuck, but overall he's a very laid back dog. Just kind of just real chill, but there's some things we want to work on. The main thing probably is anything with the leash. He likes to pull. Just all that stuff. Like when I'm gonna walk with him at nighttime and I walk fast, it's not a problem. But if there's distractions or anything like that, he's going every which direction. And other than that, he still teases a little bit when he's excited. And just some other basic stuff, just listening to us a little better. But overall, he's really laid back, so we haven't really had any issues with him. We just want him to be a little more, astute with his training and listening to us. And definitely the big thing's the walking on the leash.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you know about Rummy, or like any other maybe commands, specific commands you're looking for Rummy to learn, or
just the heel, the walking next to you. He could definitely get better with the sit, and he doesn't really do stay at all. It's just the basic stuff. I'm not really worried about the off leash stuff yet. I just kind of want to get all the basics with the leash and, just get all that down. He's only worn a harness before. He's never really had a collar on, only. But other than that, I mean, he's pretty easy. So.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, it sounds like you're just looking like you said, just the leash stuff.
At least to start with,
Yeah, I think from what I've seen from Rummy here is that he's a little bit, like, I guess outside of, I know he pulls for sure, but outside of that, he is a little also
jumping. Another thing is probably jumping on people, getting excited when they come. But keep going. I'm sorry.
Got it. What else? He is a little shy. He was a little shy here at first, but I think he gained his confidence once he got fully acclimated to the environment. I've seen the jumping, and I know he pulls. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we've seen. I think that's just like the basic stuff. So I think most of these I guess issues are more so stemming from the harness.
Mm-hmm.
Harnesses are meant for pulling, so dogs have what's called opposition reflex. So it's when you pull them back, they pull what they want to pull forward. If you pull them left, they pull right. If you pull right, they pull left. If you pull back, they want to go forward.
Gotcha.
So whenever harnesses are mostly used for like huskies to pull sleds, horses wear harnesses. We do harnesses for protection training.
Mm-hmm.
And how that works is we put the dog on the harness, we pull back, they want to go forward, so we release the pressure or tension for a little bit, and then we pull back. release, pull, release, pull, release, pull, until we've created enough frustration that can turn into aggression, and then we let the dog go and they go and bite the guy.
Gotcha.
So sometimes, as owners are raising their puppies with the harnesses, they could technically be raising a protection dog. Now, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that depends, but technically they're doing what what we would do. But what it's needed is just a better tool for Remy to understand that you don't pull, or maybe you don't go say hi to that person or jump on that person or say hi to that squirrel or the other dogs or whatever it is, and kind of just getting like his focus under control.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why we don't use harnesses for puppies. We tend to use the gentle leaders, like the really young ones. So that's like a tool that we don't recommend. But gentle leader is a great tool because it's you're avoiding that the trachea collapsing for the young ones, and then you can control the head. Where if you control the head, you control the body.
Right.
That's a good tool. And then you have like slip leash and slip chain. Slip leash and slip chain are good tools as well. Um, it just depends on how soft the dog is. So here, we use slip leashes. Some dogs are very responsive to it. Some dogs are super sensitive to it. Some dogs still don't care about it. They'll still pull you and everything. So slip leash is a good tool to like for handling skills. Then we move on to another common tool is prong collar. Prong
Mhm.
collar. So are you able to see me? Right.
Yeah, I can see you.
So we have prong collars right here.
Yeah.
These are like these spiky ones.
Mhm.
That's also a good tool as well because it's supposed to mimic a mother's bite. So the reason why a lot of clients or owners get some successes with this because it's a physical tool. So dogs are physical animals. From 3 to 4 weeks, they're already getting physicality from the mother. So there's a really good video to watch. It's a cream retriever, I believe, and the mother's entering a playpen, and the playpen is full of like her litter, and there's like 8 to 9 pups in there, and they're all jumping on her, bombarding her as she's entering, and then you'll hear her like growl and then show her teeth, and then she snaps at like 3 puppies, and all the puppies go yip yip, like they yelp, but then everyone else turns, walks away, and then lays down, and it's quiet like immediately. So from that young age, they're receiving physicality. Sometimes owners think that, well, he's a puppy, or you can't correct a puppy, or maybe the puppy will grow out of it. Technically, maybe the puppy can grow out of it, but most of the time, puppies don't grow out of certain behaviors. They just continue doing a certain behavior, like jumping,
Right.
being mouthy, or getting the zoomies. It's just going to be continued if it's not corrected, like a mother would do.
Sure.
Um, so it's their language. If Rummy maybe was at a dog park and was getting really bothered by this other dog, and Rummy didn't want to play. Since he's getting older, he's 7 months, 6 months old. It's also like the brain maturing in that moment of his growth. So
Mhm.
maybe he could have a point where like, or a boundary for like little puppies or maybe other dogs who have no boundaries, and maybe he could get physical with another puppy. He's trying to tell them don't do that, because dogs don't talk to each other. They don't say off or leave it, or no, and then here's a treat, good boy, for not biting me. It's, you're gonna do this action, you're gonna get this consequence because I don't like it. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Oh yeah. No, and that's why we putting him in daycare so early. I think he's learned what he's been socialized really well. So I think he gets that. So I totally understand that.
Yeah. For the
I was just nervous we were just nervous because obviously he's pulling so much. So we were just nervous to put a collar on him. He's just going to pull. We wanted somebody to show us or show him the right way to do it, because I just didn't want him pulling with a collar, obviously, and doing the same thing,
yeah, because prong collar, a lot of times owners will kind of either just like slap a prong collar on a dog, or like and then the trainer will say, yeah, put a prong collar on, and then there's no training. Is because there's a specific way to teach prong collar, and it gets very nuanced and very specific. It can get difficult for the dog the regular dog owner. But pros and cons, there are definitely some cons of prong collar. Again, I said the pros. The cons are you can teach heel, stay, sit down, plays calm with all prong. But then once you take that leash off, you've lost all control. So then you have no way to kind of make the command happen if you want to say something.
Gotcha.
Another issues could be, let's say, I don't know, let's say you do get a prong collar for Rummy, and then Rummy sees a squirrel and is pulling, and he's actually pulling through the prong collar, right? Because his mind is at like a 10, but maybe your strongest leash pop or correction with the prong collar is a 7. You're never going to override Rummy's brain to like help him disengage from the squirrel. So then you're gonna be stuck. So that's like a common thing owners will kind of run into, is that prong collar is actually not enough, or maybe the dog still pulls with the prong collars because they're able to kind of shut everything out and just focus on this one thing, and just they're so
Nothing you can do.
Say it again?
Yeah. Oh, there's not much you can do, right?
Exactly.
Once you just get at that point, yeah.
So then that brings us to electronic collars. You guys are aware that we do use e-collars and prong collars to train?
Yes. One of my good buddies actually uses an e-collar, and he was, did some work with you guys. So that's kind of what he suggested, and what I was reading about it today. So
sweet. Do you remember the dog? Or you don't have to say, it's fine. Sorry. So e-collar, did your friend explain what it was, or what do you know about e-collar from what you've read up on?
It gives that little, like the mom is just doing a little, I feel like it's the same type of feeling for the dog almost as the prong collar, but obviously, if they're not on a leash, you could still use it, and it's, I think, he was kind of like, once they do something incorrect, they'll feel it and they'll immediately know that wasn't the right thing to do.
Correct. Yes. Jesse likes to call the e-collar electric, but it's not electricity. So it's nothing that's flowing through the dog's body. It's just these 2 contact points on a collar that whatever it's touching, it's contracting.
Okay.
Physical therapists, chiropractors use the same exact technology. Jesse had an interview with one of them, and then they were saying this is the same feeling we use for our clients. It's just a TENS unit or like STEM, and like they also kind of, the way they work with their clients is very similar to how we do it with our dogs. Is like they start low, and they work their way up until the client says, "Okay, that's a little uncomfortable." They lower it 2 levels down, and then they let the machine do its work. Very similar to how we do our dog training, which is pretty cool. But the brand we use is called Dogtra.
Okay.
And Jesse's used many brands, and he's used Dogtra the longest, and he's had the most successes with this brand. So that's his go-to. Dogtra has 127 levels. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 127. There are other brands out there that maybe go up to 10 or like 8. So think of the power outage of 10 equal to 127. We just have so many more numbers to be more specific to the dog's personality, the breed, or like the scenario we're in. So that's another wonderful thing about Dogtra, is that they give you so much like wiggle room to be kind of exact and precise with the dog. They're waterproof, 1 mile to a half-mile long range. You don't need batteries. You can just charge them and plug them in the wall. They last for a long time. Very simple, very easy to use. What else?
And it just seems like for him too, if it's, you could do a lot of stuff that's not leash related, the teething, the way to come in type stuff, it seems like that would be good for him.
Yes. So what we can accomplish with the e-collar to fix the pulling, we would teach heel. This would be the first thing we would teach in general, even if let's say you had a great heel, we would still teach it, because we still need to teach him what the e-collar is, how pressure turns on, how pressure turns off, and that he is the one in control of the e-collar, because he'll never know that you're the one pressing the button, because there's nothing connected to you and the feeling. He'll be thinking it's the universe or like Big Brother or whatever you want to call it, kind of telling him what to do. So he's going to be under the impression that he's making his own decision to turn the pressure on, turn the pressure off. So it's also in a way increasing confidence. What is it? So heel, for our version of heel, is walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So if I take 5 steps with Rummy, Rummy will take 5 steps. If I take 10, he takes 10. If I come to a stop, he's to automatically sit on my side with his shoulder parallel to my leg with the leash in any environment. So with this type of walk, you can get end result, a more calm and tired dog because of how strict it is and mentally exhausting it can be. He's going to get more out of the walk than he would have if it was just because, dogs usually get the physical exercise, yes, but mentally they're not really getting that. So then what we're doing here is just giving him a job, telling him what to do on this walk and to, kind of focus.
Right. I know the breeder said like the mental stimulation is like 3 times as tiring as physical or some sort of like that, and so.
Yes, it is. So what would happen is we would teach you heel, and then we see what behaviors go away. So like maybe the mouthiness might go away on its own because he doesn't have that much energy to be goofy or like, to be still like puppy like behavior.
Right.
So like the zoomies, they tend to go away because they're more satisfied on the walks and they're more exhausted. But then let's say he's still jumping on your guests when they enter or jumping on you when you get home. Then we can go ahead and tackle that. So it's like seeing what the heel fixes. Because let's say he has, what does he usually like to pull towards when you're on your walks?
What does he usually like to pull towards? Definitely like if we're walking the sidewalk, he'll go on the grass and start sniffing, or if squirrels, like you said. Not really other dogs a ton. But he'll just go his own direct. He'll see something or he'll smell something. He'll just go one way, and and like you said, like when he tees, it's when he's gets all excited and has that energy, and otherwise when he's tired, he really no issues,
Exactly. Yeah. So, let's say we're teaching heel and then he's doing great, teething stops. Maybe he's even calling when you arrive or whatever. And then maybe it's like the squirrels are still an issue or something like that, for example. Then we can go ahead and tackle the squirrel issue because it's just like we teach heel, we see what it fixes, and then we'll address specific, right. What is it?
Above me, I got you. What else? It makes sense. He's gonna, if he, it seems like the heel, it's just a basic listening and opening up, what he knows and what's expected from him,
Correct. Yes. So e-collar is, again, like you said, similar to prong where it's physical. So it's their language and they're able to kind of catch on and understand it quick and easy, especially the way we teach it. Now, what can happen is no one likes being disciplined. No one likes being put under that much pressure. So what might happen is we might see Rummy get a little bit of stress. So we'll see what his stress response is. From here, what I saw his stress response was not like more of like he's like more shut down type of behavior. So when we train, I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to like not want to do this. So like a dog, like maybe he gets anxious or he has like a little bit of anxiety as a stress response. E-collar isn't making your dog anxious or flighty. Your dog was already like that. That was their stress response. So this is their stress response in this scenario. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. No, I completely understand that.
The important part is to work the dog through it. So sometimes if an owner, we had a dog here for a daycare and train that he ended up coming to us because other trainers could not make this dog move. So once we made the dog move, he was super stressed. He was always trying to run away, trying to get away, but we have to keep working him through that. Now we have no issues. He moves like nothing. So as soon as you get over that hump, it's like, oh, I just got to walk with you. That's all you have to do. And it's also, again, increasing their confidence in that sense of they think they're making that decision and that choice versus like getting pulled or yanked with the prong collar, whatever other tool you'll be using. So just heads up on that. And any other questions so far?
No, just interested to see, I understand you teach how you will teach us what to do and how to use it. No, I know there's videos, you guys tape everything, but I mean, you'll give us what we need and what we do and shouldn't do and all that.
Yes. Is there like a specific program you're looking at? Because we have the in-person, so it's like a one-on-one type program. We have the daycare and train where it's just you drop Rummy off, we train him, and we also have the board and train program where it's you leave Rummy with us for a week or two and then we train him. Is there a specific program you're looking at, or I could just run through the programs for you if you want?
It would be the daycare and then the board and train. So we're leaving him. I know you guys won't be doing it, but we're leaving with him from like the 16th to like the 2nd of January. So, we'd like to do some, I know you guys aren't doing it one of the weeks, but do some then, but also do some, once a week or whatever, twice a week, because we're pretty much sending him to daycare every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, daycare and train and board and train would probably be what we'd like to do.
Okay. If you do the daycare and train program, there's no need to do the board and train. And if you do the board and train program, there's no need to do the daycare and train.
Okay. But we could, like, you could do the daycare and train while he's boarded there, right? Is that how, or like during the day, or is that different?
That's different. That would just be a board and train program.
Okay. So like we literally board and train, you take him for that time. Yes. And train him every day. Okay. So yeah, we would do the daycare and train then.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, the daycare and train's great. So how it kind of goes is, again, like you said, you get the videos. We have the 1 week, the 2 week, the 3 week, and the 4 week. Rummy is more in like the 1 week to the 2 week program. Yeah. I'm thinking 2 week because I'm thinking he might get a little stressed, so the 2 week might be needed to get over that hump, so it gives us more time. But we can do the 1 week to get the foundation done. Then we hand him off to you, and then you kind of continue it. So okay. I recommend the 2 week, but we can do the 1 week. So let's say you do the 2 week, you will get 2 1-hour-long videos. The first video you'll get is him learning heel, stay, sit, down, come, place, all 6 commands. The first time. So you're seeing the first time we put the e-collar on, you're seeing how he's responding to it the first time, you're seeing how he's working through it, and then you're also seeing how like how you can practice at home. Mm-hmm. The second week of his daycare and train program is another video of us advancing his obedience to a 30-foot long leash. So we're holding the end of that. So now he has 30 feet to make mistakes. So it's just kind of advancing his obedience in that sense. And also, again, working with him, through his, like the brain part of the training.
Sure.
He still gets to play with dogs. He gets to enjoy all the daycare activities. All we're doing is just training him now. Yeah. With the daycare and train program, the 2 week, you get 3 hours of follow-up lessons and then those 2-hour-long videos. These follow-up lessons can take place at Oz Park if you like, or in the facility. So it's kind of us just transferring the obedience to you. So a common concern for owners when they board the dog or if they do the daycare and train is, okay, if you're doing all the work and we get our dog back, will my dog behave when you're only here, or like will they forget everything when you leave? So technically no, because let's say we're working with Rummy and we say, or let's say we find our training number for Rummy to be 30. Mm-hmm. When I press a button on 30 and you press a button on 30, it's still 30. There's no he's stronger than him or she's stricter than him, and
he doesn't know if it's you or me, just knows. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. So for our follow-up lessons or like for our training, it's owners are also under the impression that when they send their dog to us, that the dog will come back at like a brand new car, right? Their dogs, their animals, it does not work like that. What has to happen is those follow-up sessions to kind of transfer everything to you. So what you might see before those follow-up and before you get the video is that it'll look like he's not really learning anything. But once you get that video, you can practice right away. Or
Mhm.
with the follow-up lesson, he'll realize, oh, this feeling, it's with dad too. So then it kind of clicks right away for him. We've done all the hard work, so all he has to do is just perform for you. And it's just mostly like teaching you kind of how what we taught Rummy and how to kind of continue that training.
Okay.
Um, so I wouldn't worry about anything like that. But what else? So 3 hours of
Is
follow
the,
up. Oh, go for it. Sorry.
is the like the 1 week or 2 week, is it every day for the week, or is it spread out a little bit, or how do you usually do it?
It's spread out. It's you
Okay.
get a bundle, so you get the 10-day bundle, 5, 10, 15, 20.
Mhm.
Sorry, I said 2 week. It's the 10-day bundle.
Yeah.
Um, so that would be like we recommend you bringing Rummy on either a Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday because that's when I'm here and I work.
Okay.
So I'll be able to do the videos and everything and make sure that he's getting trained. Um, so an owner now is doing like a Monday, a Wednesday, and then next week a Monday and a Wednesday, and they're always kind of they're doing at least 2 days a week. But you
Okay.
can do whatever you can do them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then um, next week maybe like a Monday or like a Wednesday too as well. Or it's just kind of like whatever you want to do. It's a bundle, so like if you can also like make reservations. If you don't show up on your reservation, there's no consequence or penalty. You still get that day. Um, and then does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. And the follow up, is that a we there too, or is that just with the dog?
The follow up is us meeting you at Oz Park with
Okay.
Rummy,
Okay.
uh, and I kind of just because you're after the third day, you should get your video, and then you're also allowed to have a 1 hour follow up session. So it's all owners are different. Some owners like practice what they see in the video, and they try to kind of continue that.
Mhm.
Other owners have been not too confident with themselves or sure about the training tool, which is fine, and they want to have the follow up session first before they start practicing like by themselves, which you can do
Got
as well. So after that third day, you can schedule a follow-up lesson. um, like you don't need to do it or wait for it when the program's over. Um, so it's just kind of how you want to use off those follow-ups. But like we can meet at Oz Park, one day, and it will still be hands off for me. So the trainers don't touch the dog. We're just coaching you what to do with Rummy and how we taught him. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be you with Rummy taking him on a walk. It's not going to be me.
Sure.
Um, any other questions?
Um, um, not yet. I think no. I think you've got everything, honestly.
Sweet. There are some common questions owners have
Mhm.
about the collar. One of them is, so like after the program, does the e-collar, come off, or like is it on all day, all night, or when does the e-collar come off? So the e-collar is on when you need it. So like on your walks, the e-collar will be on even after your program. It's on because we can't predict what's going to happen on these walks. So, like maybe we're walking and like a car crash happens right next to you on the street, and maybe Rummy gets terrified and books it, and maybe the leash slips out your hand, or maybe he slips out like let's say you get the flat collar, he slips out the flat collar, the snap buckle breaks or something where he's running away. Saying Rummy come most likely won't work because he's in flight mode. So when dogs are in flight mode, they're thinking kill or be killed. So
Yeah.
what's needed there in that moment is power to override the brain to force the dog to do the 180 and come back to you. So it's on just in case. Just had a client one time, they were playing fetch at Oz Park, and then another dog ran and was going to get their dog's ball because they entered their space. So the client's dog was a resource guard, so she needed power to override that dog in mid, fetch to come
Mhm.
back because it would have been a fight. Another client Jesse had was they were like walking in Lincoln Park, and then a coyote showed up, and he immediately just resulted the e-collar to get the dog returned right away.
Yeah.
So in scenarios where life will just throw you random stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's better to be safe than sorry. So the e-collar will be on just in case. Now you shouldn't always be like tapping the button in the future. So like my dog, Jesse's dogs, we've done all the hard work. So we press the button maybe like once or twice a month at the most, just for like emergencies. So it's just there in case something happens. Now, let's say right now Rummy's just hanging out. You don't plan on having any people over. It's just you guys for the night. Then you don't need it on. It's just when you need it.
Right.
Let's say you're gonna have guests come over. You would collar him up 30 minutes prior and kind of address whatever that is needing to be addressed. If he's a jumper or like a kind of in your face type of dog and you're not wanting that, or maybe your guest doesn't like dogs. So you would be ready for that. And if you find that Rummy is pretty much settled throughout the night, you can take the e-collar off, or you can keep it on just in case, he gets
Right. You
riled.
don't need to press the button. Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. So wait, I remember I was going to ask. He's getting neutered in like, is it 2 weeks from Friday?
Okay.
Or 2 weeks from Friday. So I mean, is it okay if we do a couple before and then we'd be off for like a week or two, or should we just wait till after? Does not really matter. I mean,
we have noticed, and it just depends. So what I would do is probably just wait till he's neutered
yeah.
after. So then when we begin, that there won't be like a gap of loss of practice. So
Right.
because what can happen is he might regress a little bit of like the work we did. I don't expect it to be like a big.
It's not worth it though. I mean, so I just that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd probably wait until he's kind of done with that and like kind of like healed up and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I would wait. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'd probably be maybe a little slightly more laid back after. We'll see.
Any other questions?
No, I think I'm going to sign up for the 10-day probably. Or yes, I'm going to sign up for the 10-day, and we'll start it after he's neutered and back into it. But no, we're excited, and I've been reading up on this, so I'm I can see what it'll do, and it sounds like it'll fit him well. Do we buy the e-collar, or is it you guys get it? We pay you, or how does that work?
So after this follow-up lesson, after this consultation, a follow-up email will be sent out to you from my assistant Tina.
Mm-hmm.
So the program and the price, what a payment plan will look like, and the e-collar I recommend for Rummy.
Okay.
She'll send you a link to Amazon to purchase it yourself, or you can purchase it through us. So we sell them here at the facility for the same price. If you purchase it through us, you get 30 days. Within those 30 days, if there's a malfunction with the e-collar, you can go ahead and return it. We'll get it fixed for you, and we'll borrow you a collar. If you buy it yourself, you would have to deal with dog truck yourselves.
Sure.
But it's the same price and everything. Usually daycare and trains and board and trains buy the e-collar from us because we can just pull it off the shelf. But you can purchase it yourself as well. You can purchase it before the program, get a feel for it, mess around with it, kind of get used to the functions and everything. It's all personal preference for you. But it's not included in the program. It's sold separately.
Okay.
And then another thing that will be in the follow-up email. Oh no, well, and I think you already signed the new agreement, correct?
I think so. I tried. I think I did.
Yeah, I think Elizabeth said something. So you're already all set. So it's just kind of billing and booking. That's all we have to kind of move on to. There's nothing else for you to sign. It's just getting the e-collar and the billing and booking process.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I think that's it. I appreciate everything. You did a great job explaining all this.
Of course. Trying to think if I missed anything.
And obviously keep an eye out for anything else we think that we'd like to have him corrected. But I think that the healing and all that will take care of some other stuff, you know?
Yeah. I think one other thing I missed was that for the e-collar, Jesse likes to call the e-collar cop on a collar. So do you drive on the highway?
Yes.
Do you go the speed limit?
No, I go no, I go faster.
But then what happens when we see the squad car at the corner or the side?
Slow down.
Correct. So it's called opportunistic behavior. Dogs have it. Dogs are very opportunistic animals. So don't be surprised if, let's say, you don't have the e-collar on, and then, maybe you're going for a quick potty break, no e-collars on, and he's doing great, no jumping on people. But then someone comes along, he jumps on them. It's because he might recognize that the cop is the collar, and if there's no cop, he can kind of break the rules. So it has nothing to do with the training, has nothing to do with you or the way you're practicing. It's just nature. It's just dogs are just naturally opportunistic animals. Now, there are certain ways to kind of avoid it as best as you can, will just be consistency. So some owners will take a dog on a e-collar heel walk. Some owners will take their dog on a walk with no e-collar, so they're very inconsistent with it. So then it's more opportunistic because they're thinking, whoa, I'm pulling, I'm not getting any of that feeling. Why not? Oh, there's no collar on me. I know now. So, do your best to be consistent to avoid it. But if it does happen, it's just nature. It's just a dog. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. He's, they're not stupid. They know, they'll figure out eventually what it is.
Correct. Yes. Other than that, I think that was my last point. So if any other questions come up, feel free to email me. And then other than that, keep a lookout for the follow-up email. And then once that's sent out, we can go ahead and get you guys.
Do we email you before when we want to set it up?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have Elizabeth reach out to you and just give the prices and the
No, I mean, once we sign up, how do we schedule it?
Oh, it'll be through Elizabeth. So you'll
good.
let her know when you want to start. After the billing has been made and everything.
Right.
So we want to start on this day, and it's perfect. That's all.
Okay, great.
Alrighty, it was nice speaking with you, Ryan.
Appreciate it, Enrique. This is great. I can't wait.
Of course. All right. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.